So if Clay is playing tonight, how do you anticipate splitting up who Bradley's going to be on?
Well, he's going to guard. He's going to guard a lot of different people. We have a tendency to switch quite a bit on the perimeter. So obviously, he'd see them both.
What do you think of the job that Luke Walton has done as an interim coach? And everybody's talking about how Victory's done close his record. And
yeah, I mean, I didn't even know that until I read that the other day. He's done a great job, and I think it's been more than just holding down the fort. He has, I've watched them play multiple times prior to starting to really look at him as an opponent and taking actions that he's run after timeouts that I've not seen them run before, that I thought were really good. And his demeanor's great. He's got a great way with the players. Players obviously really respect him and like him, and he's an extension to me when I look at it of Steve, who I think is one of the most down to earth but competitive people I know. So we hope that Steve gets well, but they certainly have a more than capable guy manning the ship right now.
Assuming every game kind of means the same, and this therefore is not a bigger game, is it a bigger challenge? Have you addressed the team along those lines at all?
Well, yeah, I mean, they're 23-0. I mean, they haven't lost a game, so and they're the reigning champions, and to be both of those things is pretty remarkable, because of the extra incentive for everybody playing against you when you walk into their building. For them to run through the league the way they're running through the league just tells you not only how good they are, but how grounded they are. So, yeah, I mean, it's certainly something that you have to be urgently aware of everything around you when you're playing this game. If you take your foot off the pedal for a minute, they don't, take control. They kill you. And so that's, it's who they are. They're really good at it.
You've given James Young more and more responsibility last week or so. What has he done to earn that, and what will it be? What types of things is he going to be having to?
Well, obviously, we've got some depth issues from an injury standpoint in the backcourt, and so everybody's got to be ready. One thing that James has been very consistent with has been his defensive positioning and focus, all the way dating back to summer league. So as hopefully his shots start to fall and all that other stuff, but that's a little bit less important when you're playing the role that he's playing. And right now, we just need him to come in and be a good, solid defender and take care of the ball. And, if he makes a shot, that's great.
Coach, how much, if at all, do you get a sense from your team that they want to be a team that gives them away?
I mean, our team wants to win. I think that's the bottom line. You want to win every game that you play. There's no doubt that when you get a chance to play at home against, the best team in the league, you're excited about it. That being said, we've got to make sure that we try to play to our standards and focus on what we can control and not get too caught up in it.
Coach, when you look at how Charlotte's playing, is it hard to look past this game and not forward into Charlotte game?
Hey, I don't know if you said that facetiously or not, but Gary asked me the other night, do you start watching film? Yeah, you watch film on everybody you're about to play, and we have a tough stretch coming up. There's no question about it. The good news is I got to watch Golden State and Charlotte play, but Golden State's playing great. Charlotte's at the top of the East. Cleveland's next. They're at the top of the East. So, we're going to have to play really well to have a chance to win. That storyline remains the same.
Do you pick David Lee's brain at all? Obviously, being a former Warrior player, I mean, does that come into?
I mean, you do. The one thing that you want to do is you don't want to put him in the position where he feels like he has to be, from a coaching standpoint. Just if we've got a question based on what we've seen. I mean, we have enough video and enough stats that a lot of that stuff you can see on film. But certainly, he may add a blurb or two, and he's more than willing to do that. But his focus needs to be on playing well. And we need him to play well. We need all our guys to play well.
What's the update on
RJ
RJ?
should be ready to go by Monday's practice is our hope. And then Marcus, when we met yesterday, it sounded like it was doubtful through the rest of next week, and then reevaluate from there.
Jared Sullinger said the other day that the media is making this out to be like a Super Bowl.
Do you think it's important for the guys knowing that every game is important, every game is really a must-win, especially in the East this year, that they don't make it like a Super Bowl?
Well, I never have looked at it as every game's a must-win. Every game's a must-play well. You know, if you play to your standards enough of the time, the results take care of themselves. And if you don't, you get beat. And that's why it's just as important how we play on a Wednesday night game with a lot less media than tonight's game. And I think that's the bottom line. I understand why he'd say that because, you know, there's a lot more people standing around here. But, you know, to me it is what it is. Play well or don't, find out.
Coach, can you remark on Jerry Sullivan's rebounding lately and just how big that's been for you guys during this year?
Yeah, I mean, he's been an elite rebounding the ball. There's no question about it. We're going to need that again tonight. You know, I think we need to rebound on both ends tonight to have a chance.
How hard is it to match up with Draymond Green?
Yeah, Draymond's really good. I had a chance to coach Draymond in the World University games in 2011, and one of the best things about coaching him was you could put him anywhere on the floor. As you know, you coached him too. So, and that kind of versatility is so unique. I mean, you can put some guys at the 3 or the 4, maybe the 2 or the 3, maybe the 2 or the 4 if you're really lucky, but 1 through 5 is pretty unique.
Right, when the Warriors were here last, they were down 20, and then they gave you that small ball lineup, and that was kind of the beginning of the trend of putting Draymond at center. What do you remember trying to do to combat that small ball group?
Wasn't the beginning because I saw it on film and thought, man, if they go to this, that'll be tough. But it was close to the beginning. It was right around that time, right? You know, I think the biggest thing is you've got to be strong with the ball. You've got to make sure that you move them and don't get caught up in all the switching. I think one of the biggest things about playing against switching is you have a tendency to isolate and slow down. And if you can move, and put bigs in help, and obviously they don't have a ton of bigs, and then guards guarding down low after the ball is moving, it's a lot more difficult to defend. So, you know, we'll try to move it a little bit better, but I went back and watched, and I wasn't too disappointed with what we did last year after that lead dissipated from an offensive standpoint. I thought we got a little bit caught up defensively in some things that we need to be better at, and then Curry was ridiculous on some of the shots he hit.